Now, whether you're playing your free hit or not, this video is for you. We're talking players to buy and avoid for Game Week 32. I hope you enjoyed that unintentional poem there. First on my list, most important player in my opinion to bring in for Game Week 32 is Mo Salah. He's the top player now for expected points in Game Week 32. DraftHound have done an update of their expected points following on from the Liverpool and Leeds fixture, and Salah leads the way. 8.3 expected points for Game Week 32, which in my opinion, he was already the best captain, but now the expected points data reflects that as well. Another point with Salah, for me, you know, he's the only one of that Liverpool front three I would consider to be nailed. He's the only one you can really back to start that Forest game. They just have so many options up front now, and Klopp is liking to rotate those players around, but Salah seems to be a stalwart in that team, and I think he's going to play at Forest at home. So it's just a great fixture in general, and for the next 5 fixtures, they're all great in my opinion, including the double in 24. 2 home games, one of them Spurs, one of them Fulham. I don't necessarily think, you know, they could beat Spurs. I think Spurs play well on the counter to beat, counteract the Liverpool high line. But I don't see a game like that where Liverpool don't score and Salah doesn't get involved in some returns. So yeah, really hopeful for some returns from Salah over the next 5 or so game weeks. And my general point is Liverpool might not be having their best season, but Salah's level has not dropped too much in my opinion. He's still playing like Mo Salah does. It's just, unfortunately, the rest of that Liverpool team are not playing very well. And his expected returns per 90 stats are unbelievable still. 0.75 expected returns per 90, 0.55 expected goals, 0.2 expected assists. So he looks like a great option for Game Week 32 and beyond. Now, I know I said the rest of the Liverpool team are not necessarily playing very well, but hear me out. I think the Liverpool defence from Game Week 32 and beyond is a reasonable, set of players to bring in, particularly Trent and Robertson. Just looking at the next, sort of 6 game weeks or so, their clean sheet odds, you can see there below, are looking really good. And I think the fact they've got so many home fixtures mixed in that list, particularly for that double in 34 and Game Week 32 when you'd obviously be bringing them in, I just think they look like really good options compared to the rest of the defenders in the game. And Liverpool just have such a different Anfield factor when they play at home, which can mean they can beat any team. We've seen it before, and I think we'll see it for the remainder of the season. I also think the fact that they could get top 4 still. Newcastle not playing as well as they have been. Spurs obviously don't have a real manager at the moment, just in a complete mess. I really do think that Liverpool will challenge for those top 4 places. And with all these home games left, I think they really turn it on at Anfield and keep some clean sheets. And obviously, we know Trent and Robertson, how they are going forward. They've got really good potential of some attacking returns. And for that reason, I think you should consider them for your Game Week 32 team. My next player is Gabriel Jesus. Now, you might be slightly put off by him with the Man City away and Chelsea at home fixtures in Game Week 33 and 34. But I've got to be honest with you, I feel like he could score in either of those fixtures. Man City, I know they're really challenging for the title at the moment, but they still don't look particularly solid in defence. I feel like that back line still has mistakes in it, and that certainly means Jesus could score in that game. In Chelsea, obviously, they're not as good as they used to be. And under Lampard, they don't seem to have improved very much either. So I see those as 2 games that Jesus could quite realistically score in. And then Game Week 32, Southampton at home is an absolute prime fixture for Arsenal. They need to win this to win the title. Obviously, that means scoring goals. We'll see what happens on the day. Obviously, Arsenal have not had the best results recently, but they have still scored goals. And I think Jesus is going to be amongst them against Southampton. Looking at his underlying numbers, they are fantastic. We just saw what Salah had, 0.75 expected returns per 90. Jesus is even better, 0.9. He's only 0.96% owned in the top 10k at the moment. He's an absolutely massive differential. The only thing I will say is his ownership will rocket up in Game Week 32. A lot of people are going to have him on their free hit drafts, and a lot of people will just be transferring him in anyway, I imagine. But yeah, those underlying numbers are fantastic for a player so lowly owned at the moment. And for me, he's definitely the Arsenal first choice centre forward, and I don't think you need to worry too much about rotation. The next one really, it's not necessarily saying to buy him, but it's just a nod of respect to Andreas Pereira really. He's made my free hit draft, and he definitely appears to be a good option if you're on your free hit. And also, if you've got a couple of transfers in hand and you're looking to restructure your team, for me, he's the ideal player to bring in to do that. It allows you, to have a cheaper midfielder to stack up on players in other positions. Like I said, bringing in Liverpool defenders seems to be a good shout this game week going forwards. So maybe you could bring in someone like Andreas Pereira to fund that, because at the moment, most of our teams are probably filled up by some cheap defenders. But yeah, for me, he's only 4.3 million now. Like, obviously, that's just down to people selling him and going for 5 in midfield, loading up on Brighton and Arsenal, etc. But, his underlying numbers are really, really good. 0.41 expected returns per 90 is at a decent level. It's only just off, the likes of the Arsenal midfielders who are on 0.5. So, yeah, he looks like a great option. Perfect to have first on your bench. I think from my memory, whenever I've needed him off the bench, he's never actually let me down. He's always come away with attacking returns, and I remember it was either just before or after the World Cup. Some people were just considering starting him every week for the value that he provided. And obviously, Mitrovic is still out. I can't remember exactly when he comes back in the team, but I would suggest for at least the next 2 or 3 game weeks, Andreas Pereira is going to be on penalties for Fulham. So that's another sort of string to his bow, if you like. In the Man City and Liverpool fixtures, again, I mentioned them with Jesus. They don't particularly put me off. I feel like those are games that Fulham could quite easily score from. And just noting as well, Andreas Pereira's corner delivery is absolutely fantastic. I remember when Mitrovic was in the Fulham team, Andreas was pretty much finding Mitrovic with pretty much every corner he was taking. So, yeah, all the set pieces and the penalties, he looks like a great option. Now, I've got to be careful with my words here, because I'm absolutely not advising people to sell Harry Kane. I'm simply suggesting that he could be a player to avoid. For me, Salah is a much better option over the next 5 or so game weeks. I'm waiting for that to bite me, but yeah, he just looks like such a better option. With the double game week in 34 that he has, 2 home games at Tottenham, and Fulham. Kane is Liverpool away, Man United and Newcastle in the next 3. They're really tough fixtures. And for game week 32, he doesn't even make the top 5 players for expected points anymore. So even on your free hit, I think there is a genuine case to go without him. And yeah, now Salah has overtaken him for expected returns per 90. It suggests now for across the season and the rest of the season, he's actually a better option. Of course, he also scores more points for scoring goals as well, does Salah. So the fact he's overtaken him in terms of expected returns means he's by far overtaken him in terms of expected points as well. So yeah, absolutely not suggesting you sell Harry Kane if you have him. Or, well, I kind of am actually, because there could be a move that you could make to sell Harry Kane to bring in Mo Salah. I think that would be a smart transfer. And maybe you could use someone like Greenwood, or a cheaper striker at least, to fill the hole of Harry Kane. But I'm not saying you should rip up your team and sell him and he's a terrible option. That's obviously not the case. What I am saying is I think Salah is a better option now going forward. And you could consider how you plan to take Harry Kane out, particularly with double game week 34 in mind, because Salah has amazing fixtures there, and it would be a shame to miss out on him. All right, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a like rating and subscribe to the Golden Goal channel below. Let me know what you think of these players in the comments. I'd be interested to hear your opinions. I don't mind if they're different to mine. That's what the game is all about. And to be honest, having people with different opinion helps me to pick my own team. So yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you have in the comments. Let me know. And I'll see you in the next video.